You can't really start living until you can live with yourself. Earl Sweatshirt. Welcome to McBain Moments. As I've processed a lot of different forms of both motivational training and psychological discourses, because I listen to a lot of psychology lectures, it came to my attention that I think the biggest reason that most people fail isn't because that they themselves don't have the skill or that they are failures per se. It's because they don't like themselves very much. And this was a hard thing for me to grapple with. It was a very hard thing for me to grapple with. And not understanding why would a person not like themselves very much? Why wouldn't they want the best for themselves? And it's not because they want things to go badly for themselves, but it's because most of us don't see our own value when compared to the world as a whole. And so I think what a lot of us need to look at, we need to reframe the question. And so what we need to do is we need to look at ourselves, we need to look at the things that we're doing, we need to look at the way we're living our lives, and we need to think about, okay, this is the outcome I want for myself, this is the outcome I want for my family, this is the outcome I want for my children, this is the outcome I want for my spouse. So to get to that outcome, what do I need to do? What do I need to change? What do I need to learn to make that possible? And you need to write it down. And I know I've been beating that dead horse for a while now, but seriously, if you're not writing things, what the hell are you doing? Write it down. Write your ideas down, write your feelings down. Every doubt you have, write it down. And then write down why you have it. And so in that way you can do a self-inventory of sorts and say, okay, this is me. Here are the good things about me, and here are my opportunities. Notice how I said opportunities and not flaws, because they're never flaws. They're opportunities. And say, okay, these are the opportunities I have to improve. What do I need to do to improve one thing in my life? Just one. One thing that'll make it so that I am happier with myself than I was yesterday. And then formulate some sort of plan of action in order to make that one thing happen. And it's not easy, and in all likelihood, the first couple times you try, you're going to fail. And maybe you'll fail spectacularly, but at least you'll know what you did wrong. But the point is that you made the attempt. And then when you fail, or if you fail, because you might succeed, and if you do, awesome, although from a statistical standpoint, in all likelihood, the first few times you're going to fail, and that's okay. That happens. That's part of life. But you do a review, and you go, okay, so this is what I attempted, and this is what went wrong, and this is what went right. So what do I do to make the things that went right continue to go right, and to reduce the number of things that went wrong eventually down to zero? And it creates this feedback loop, right, where the good things get better and the bad things start to reduce, and you move up the Pareto distribution. And over time, what will end up happening is your life is going to end up going more smoothly. And I've discovered this in the last 6 months. The amount of personal development I've made in the last 6 months has probably beaten the last 6 years overall. And it was a slow start. I mean, this is the way things go, right? The first few years are really slow, and then all of a sudden you start to see an uptick. But it's the influences, it's the things you think. You have to change your mindset, and it's being willing to constantly work on yourself to improve yourself and to improve your circumstances. And so, I like myself a lot more now than I did in January. And I like myself a hell of a lot more now than I did the January previous. Now, are there things that I need to improve? Hell yes. I'm a work in process. I probably always will be, but I'm far behind a lot of the big, well-known motivational speakers and things like that, and that's okay. And I'm not just talking about for, audience reach or anything like that. It's like overall, there's a lot I need to work on. I am definitely a work in process. But if you accept the fact that you're a work in process and say, okay, I know that I am not perfect, and I know I need to continue to work on myself. I'm not going to accept where I'm at now. I don't want to live with myself in the current state I'm in, which is not to say I hate myself. It's just that I recognize the fact that there are things I can do to improve. And then you go out there and you figure out what those things are and you improve them over time, iteratively, more than likely. And what this will do is it'll make you not only a better person within yourself, but you'll be a better person to other people. Because if you're not happy with yourself, what are the chances that you're going to treat people as well as you should, or as well as you could? Very small. Because, when you don't like yourself, then you don't really like other people very much, because you don't have any... That lack of self-worth reflects in the way you treat other people. And so, because of that reflection comes out, and then they'll reflect it back to you because, you're treating them in a kind of a mediocre, okay, but not really way. Well, it may be socially acceptable, but it doesn't mean that you're necessarily treating them the best. And so that gets reflected back to you, and that creates that feedback loop that makes it spiral, and then you end up trending downward. That's another part, it's just the Pareto distribution. It goes in both directions. And it's very, very sharp. It goes like this. It's not like a trend line that's like that. And I've come to realize, and I've done a little bit of research, I need to do more. I need to do a lot more, but for the sake of time, I did a glance over at it, and there's a lot of it in mythology and social literature that I need to do a lot more research on. But I'm getting it started, which is why I'm mentioning it on video to hold myself accountable. But it's an actual mathematical formula, and it appears to be correct. Because those who succeed tend to see more success, those who fail tend to see more failure. And the irony is that those of us who believe that we're failing will tend to see more things as failures even when we succeed. And so getting out of that mindset is critical. And I'm currently working on an article. I think I'm going to try to release it on Thursday. I don't know if it's going to happen, but we're going to see about this. So look forward to that. I'm going to keep doing research, and I'm going to come back to you on this one at some point in the near future. So look forward to that too. But in the meantime, never stop trying to improve yourself. Hold yourself accountable, but never denigrate yourself for the mistakes you make. These are the opportunities to improve. This has been a McBain moment.